Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to our channel, Cooking with Olukanga and Cheryl. So glad to see you. Glad you could be here. Glad you can join me. So my man Olukanga, born and raised in Nigeria. Yes, I am Cheryl, and I was born and raised in the United States of America. Yes, it's all good. Yes. So, just thought I drop in, real quick and do a live. I want to talk about the Chinese culture and the Chinese cuisine. So, my man Onu Konga, he was born and raised in Nigeria, Africa. So Nigeria is a country, Africa is a continent, yes, and the United States of America, that's where I am from. So it's all good, yes. So, so just wanted to pop in and do a quick live. So today I'll be talking about, like I said, Chinese culture and Chinese cuisine. So I talked about Nigerian culture, Nigerian cuisine. I talked about uh, Indian culture, Indian cuisine. So now it's time for Chinese culture and Chinese cuisine. So yeah, so my man Olu Conga, so we met him over 2 years ago. Yes, so it's all good. But let's get started. Let's talk about the Chinese cuisine. What? Yes, Chinese cuisine. So I was always curious as to I was always curious I want as to how these other cultures how they did different things. So so I know being in the United States all my life, I I don't know why I'm talking like this, y'all, but it's so good. But being in the United States all my life, I would love to see how other cultures live, how they do things. So I thought I'd just do some research. So good though. Do some research on these different cultures. So yes, I want to do some research on the different cultures. I like to see what how they do things. Their dance, how they dress. Yeah, how they dance, how they dress, how they raise their families, how they do different things, or how they do things differently, but they do the same things we do. But how do they do them differently from the way we do things? So I know I did some research on one of the cultures. I had to go back and look. Uh, One of the cultures, I don't know if it was an Indian culture. I know I did Italy, I did Nigeria, and I did the Spanish culture. But one of those cultures, they said, now when they eat or when they do different things, they only use the right hand. So they only use the right hand because the left hand, they use the left hand to, can you guess? It's all good. Yes, they use the left hand. So when they go to the bathroom, well, you know what, and that's what it is. It is what it is. Yes. So they use the left hand for bathroom antics, and then the right hand, they eat with the right hand. In other words, they do everything with the right hand, but with the left hand, they don't do nothing. And then another culture I did some research on. I have to find out which one that was. They eat off the floor. So they did not eat off the floor, but you on the floor and you make your little pallet or whatever you want to do, and you eat your food. You still have your bowls and your cups and everything, but they don't use no cutlery. They eat while they're on the floor. So no cutlery means they don't use spoons and forks and knives and everything. forks and knives. So, so that's what they do in that particular culture. But I would find out exactly which one that was, So one of them, they only eat with the right hand, and the other one, they don't, the other culture, they don't use no cutlery, no forks, no knife, no spoons. That's what they eat with their hands. So I'm like, what if you want to eat some potato salad or, you know, some rice? Well, rice a lot of times. Well, I know in the Chinese culture they usually use chopsticks to eat their rice. Well, when I eat my rice, I just use a spoon. For real, yes, it's all good. So, Mr. Onukanga, born and raised in Nigeria, my main man, yes, my main man. So he'll be coming up here on one of the videos, and he will be having a conversation with you as well. So you can ask him some questions. But I definitely have to figure out how to bring up my guests. So once I figure that out, how to bring my guests up, I know you have to send a email to them. And so, in other words, when I send an email to them, I send a link. So I did that. I sent an email to Mr. Onukanga and his brother. So it's all good. Yes. So I sent an email with the link to uh, to both of them. So I'm going to try to pull them up on my panel, maybe in tomorrow's video, if not today. But they have to click on the link so they can come up. But it's all good. Yes. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's talk about the Chinese cuisine. Yes. So, Cheryl and Onukanga, Emmanuel, Izubechi. Yes. So Chinese cuisine. Chinese cuisine is widely seen as representing one of the richest and most diverse culinary heritages in the world. It originated in different regions of China and has been introduced to other parts of the world from Southeast Asia to North America and Western Europe. Just think about it. So it's just not in the Chinese culture. It's just not in other words, you think about China. I know over here in the United States we have a place called Chinatown. So you go down to Chinatown, you get the best of both worlds. You get the best of, being over here in the United States of America, and you get the best of China without even being in China. So it's all good. Yes. So, Mr. Onukanga. Yeah. Yeah. So that's let me cut it out, y'all. Hit that like button on the way in. Hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe to my video. Subscribe to my channel, not my video. Subscribe to my channel. I know they probably say this lady's crazy. No, but it's all good. Yes. So in other words, I'm thinking about the Chinese cuisine, and it said it's one of the richest and most diverse culinary heritages in the world. So diverse means a lot of other cultures are enjoying the Chinese culture. What they do in their culture, and their different food dishes, their cuisines. So it originated in different regions in China and has been introduced to other parts of the world. So in other parts of the world, from Southeast Asia to North America and Western Europe. So let's move on down. A meal in Chinese culture is typically seen as consisting of two general components. What? Yes, a carbohydrate source or starch known as in the Chinese language, typically rice, noodles, and mantou. Mantou is steamed buns, and accompanying dishes of vegetables, fish, meat, or other items known as pinyin, and that's a vegetable in the Chinese language. So, pinyin K-lit is pinyin K-lit. That's vegetable. That stands for vegetable in the Chinese language. This cultural conceptualization is in some ways in contrast to Western meals where meat or animal protein is often considered the main dish. Meat or animal protein is often considered the main dish. So I try to lay off a lot of meats. You know, they say a lot of red meats are not good for you, but it's all good. But you know, salmon, fish, different, healthy, lean meat, fruits and veggies, vegetables. Yes. So let's move on. So, oh, yeah. Oh yes, I have a nice cold glass of juice today. Because every time I get to talking for a long time, I start getting, scratchy in the throat. But it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. So let's go on. Let's move on. Let's go. Let's go. As it is well known throughout the world, rice is a critical part of Chinese cuisine. Rice is a critical part of Chinese cuisine. Same thing with the Nigerian culture. So in the Nigerian culture, they also cook with a lot of rice and fish, and they make a lot of different soups and stuff using a lot of rice. So my main man, Olukonga, born and raised in Nigeria, so he does a lot of cooking around his house, for his 3-year-old son, his family, his sister, father, family members, and so he said, that he cooks a lot of dishes that that you can put, add rice. In other words, he cooks a lot of dishes that he adds rice to, his soups and different things of that nature. So also, however, in many parts of China, particularly North China, never even knew there was North China. Wheat-based products, including noodles and steamed buns, predominate in contrast to South China, where rice is dominant. So, in other words, on the north side of China, they do wheat products such as noodles and steamed buns. But on the south side of China, that's where rice is dominant. Rice is dominant on the south side of China. It's so good. Yes, despite the importance of rice in Chinese cuisine, at, at extremely formal occasions, it is sometimes the case that no rice at all will be served. Sometimes it's the case that they might not serve no rice. In such a case, rice would only be provided when no other dishes remained, or as a token dish at the end of the meal. Soup is usually served at the end of a meal to satiate one's appetite. Owing to Western influences, serving soup in the beginning of a meal is also quite normal in modern times. So sometimes in China, in the Chinese culture, they might not serve any rice. They might not serve any rice unless they have, unless there's nothing else, then they may introduce the rice in the meal, as part of their cuisine. Uh, so let's move on. Chopsticks are the primary eating utensil, right? That's what I'm saying. Chopsticks. So when they eat their rice, they use chopsticks. We use a spoon over here in American culture, So, but different cultures do different things. So chopsticks are primary eating utensils. In Chinese culture for solid foods. So that's what they're using chopsticks. So I never tried. I would love to try eating with some chopsticks and see how they go. See how that works out for me. But I've never tried it before. But it's all good. And yes, it says while soups and other liquids are enjoyed with a wide flat bottom spoon. Okay, they use a spoon traditionally made of ceramic. So in other words, when they eating their soup, they use a flat bottom spoon. It's reported that wooden chopsticks are losing their dominance due to recent lodging shortfalls in China and East Asia. Many Chinese eating establishments are considering a switch to a more environmentally sustainable eating utensil. Yeah, so that's all good. So they're thinking about switching. Such as plastic or bamboo chopsticks. More expensive materials used in the past included ivory and silver. On the other hand, food is prepared in smaller pieces, vegetable meat, tofu, ready for direct picking up and eating. Traditionally, Chinese culture considered using knives and forks at the table barbaric due to the fact that these implements are regarded as weapons. So right, they looking at the knives and the forks as weapons, so that's why they don't want to use. That's because I never thought about why they use chopsticks and they don't use forks and knives and stuff. I mean, but that's a good reason though. Yeah, because say for instance, you out, you're having dinner, and then your mate gets attitude, and so those things are available to him or her. But it's all good. Yes, so choose your friends wisely, please. Yes. It says traditionally Chinese culture considered using knives and forks at the table due to the fact that these implements are regarded as weapons. So, but it says fish are usually cooked and served whole with diners directly pulling pieces from the fish with chopsticks to eat, unlike in some other cuisines where they are first filleted. This is because it is designed for fish to be served as fresh as possible. A common Chinese saying, including head and tail, refers to the wholeness and completion of a certain task, or in this case, the display of food. That is so good. Yes. Oh, my man. Oh, the Conga. I can't wait to talk to him and see what has been going on over there in Nigeria. So what's cracking over there in Nigeria, my man? Onu Conga Emmanuel Nzubechi. Yes. So he's going to give us an insight on the Nigerian culture as soon as he gets here. Yeah. But it's all good. Yes. So let me get on with my presentation. Okay, so let's go. In a Chinese meal, what can you expect? What can you expect in a Chinese meal? I know what to expect about American meal, but what can you expect in a Chinese meal, y'all? Yes. So smash that like button on the way in, smash the like button on the way out, whichever order you want to, keep it in, but it's all good. Yes. Okay, so let me see where I stopped at. Okay, in a Chinese meal, each individual diner is given their own bowl of rice, while the accompanying dishes are served in communal plates or bowls, which are shared by everyone sitting at the table. A communal service known as family style. So family style in the Chinese culture, yes, family style. So we all have family style. We all have a family style in all of our cultures. You're sitting around with your family, you're talking, you might play some music, and good conversation. It's all good, yes. So, in the Chinese meal, each diner picks food out of the communal plates on a bite by bite basis with their chopsticks. On a bite by bite on a bite-by-bite basis. So, but I guess that's the culture. This is in contrast to Western meals where it is customary to dole out individual servings of the dishes at the beginning of the meal. Yes, it's all good. So I don't know why I'm talking like this, y'all. But bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy hump day, everybody. Yeah. So many non Chinese are uncomfortable with allowing a person's individual utensils, which might leave traces of saliva, to touch the communal plates for this hygienic reason. Yes. Additional serving spoons or chopsticks, lit common public shared chopsticks may be made available. The food selected is often eaten together with a mouthful of rice, but it's all good. Smash that like button. Subscribe to my channel, our channel, Cooking with Olukonga and Cheryl. We want to bring you some educational, enlightening, inspirational, uh, beautiful, wonderful content. So, what? Oh, okay. Let's go with the vegetarianism. Wow, that's a big word. Vegetarianism is not uncommon or unusual in China, though as is the case in the West. So in other words, they have the northern part of China, the southern part of China, and they do different things when it comes to culture, their culture as far as, eating and the different utensils that they use. So it says vegetarianism is not uncommon or unusual in China, though as is the case in the West, is still only practiced by a relatively small proportion of the population. It says the Chinese vegetarian does not eat a lot of tofu, unlike the stereotypical impression in the West. So, take note. Yes, most Chinese vegetarians are Buddhists. Really? Most Chinese vegetarians are Buddhists. So I didn't know that, but it's good to know, but it's all good. Yes. So I mean, be what you want to be. So it's still all good. Yes. So non-Chinese eating Chinese cuisine will note that a large number of vegetable dishes may actually contain meat, as meat chunks or bits have been traditionally used to flavor dishes. Chinese Buddhist cuisine has many true vegetarian dishes, no meat at all. So that's what I like. I like a lot of dishes that doesn't have a lot of meat because I don't like to fill my stomach and my body up with a lot of meat. So I don't. I don't like to fill my stomach and my body up with a lot of meat because sometimes I mean, I've heard that, eating a lot of meat, uh, meat stays in your body long. It takes a longer time to digest, and they say that it's not good. That's why they tell you to eat a lot of lean meats, fruits and veggies, plenty of water. Try to eat healthy. So I try to eat healthy for the most part, but it's all good. Yes. So let me finish. Okay, it says Chinese Buddhist cuisine has many true vegetarian dishes, no meat at all. So I didn't know they had a Chinese Buddhist cuisine, a Chinese Buddhist cuisine. They have many vegetarian dishes, but no meat at all. And it says such are less desserts as such are less typical in the Chinese culture. It says for much of China's history, human manure has been used as fertilizer, really, due to the large human population and the relative scarcity of farm animals in China. Really, for this reason, raw food, especially raw vegetables such as salad, has not been part of the traditional Chinese diet. Well, I'm trying to figure. I mean, a salad would make you go to the bathroom quicker, I would think. Which says for much of China's history, human manure has been used as fertilizer. I heard that too. Has been used as fertilizer due to the large human population and the relative scarcity of farm animals in China. So they don't have a lot of farm animals in China, and they use the human manure as fertilizer. Right. So if they don't have the farm animals can't use the bathroom because there's a scarcity in farm animals. So they are not able to use the I guess they I don't know if they I guess that's called manure too. But they don't have enough farm animals to make any manure on the land, so they use the human's manure as fertilizer. So I mean, I heard of that before. But I mean, it's so much, but it's all good, just information here. Knowledge is power. So information is knowledge. So you have to have that information to create knowledge. So how can you create knowledge without that information? So it's all good. Yes. Okay. So for instance, the Basi fruit dishes, sizzling sugar syrup coated fruits such as banana or apple are eaten alongside other savory dishes that would be considered main course items in the West. However, many sweet foods and dessert snacks do exist in Chinese cuisine. Yes, so right, because I think, because I really never seen, when I go to these Chinese restaurants, I have been to only a few, but I noticed that they don't have a lot of dessert. I haven't, I mean, like the fast food restaurant over here, we call it McDonald's, where they do have the apple pies, and they have the cookies and stuff like that. But I really have not noticed any dessert cuisine in the Chinese, restaurant. Many are fried, and several incorporate red bean paste, the maton and the dasheba is filled with dasha. It is often eaten for breakfast. Some steamed bun items are filled with dasha. Some of these are in the shape of peaches, an important Chinese cultural symbol. Another dessert is babao fan, or eight treasure rice pudding. Eight treasure rice pudding, never tasted it. If dessert is served at the end of the meal, by far the most typical choice is fresh fruit, such as sliced oranges. The second most popular choice is a type of sweet soup. Sweet soup. Imagine, I never had any sweet soup. Imagine soup, the soup being sweet. So it says the second most popular choice is the type of sweet soup, typically made with red beans and sugar. What? Really? It's so good. So that's in Chinese culture. Never heard of anybody putting any sugar in their beans. So I know we don't do that in our culture over here. I mean, I have never seen it, but it's all good. Yes! Yeah! So what? Happy Wednesday, everybody. What? This soup is served warm. Think about your soup, your beans. Well, they say the soup is served warm, so it's called sweet soup. The second most popular choice is a type of sweet soup, typically made with red beans and sugar. What? Okay. In Chinese culture, cold beverages are believed to be harmful to digestion, are believed to be harmful to digestion of hot food. So items like ice cold water or soft drinks are traditionally not served at mealtime. It says, besides soup, if any other beverages are served, they will most likely be hot tea or hot water. Tea is believed to help in the digestion of greasy foods. So, in other words, it says in the Chinese culture, they don't serve the cold beverages because they seem to be harmful. They believe them to be harmful when you're trying to digest hot food. So, in other words, if you're in the Chinese culture, and you're eating, if you are, I guess if you are you're Chinese, and that's your culture, so they believe that they don't want to, they believe that they don't want to serve no cold drinks when they're eating hot foods. In other words, whether they're eating some hot shrimp fried rice or some hot this or hot that, they don't want to serve cold drinks because they figure that's may give them a digestion problem, so they can't really digest. But I eat hot food, and I like a cold drink when I eat my hot food for real. Now, if I eat me a hot plate of greens, fresh greens, and some baked chicken, some macaroni and cheese, or whatever I'm having for my meal, hot. I love a cold drink with my hot meal. But sometimes I can drink something hot too, because I don't mind, because sometimes I might drink, I don't mind drinking a glass of tea, a cup of tea, hot tea with my meal. So, it's all good. Hmm. Yeah, so, I have me a little cold drink right now. But so it says, yeah, right. In Chinese culture, cold beverages are believed to be harmful to digestion of hot food. So they don't want to drink nothing cold when they're trying to digest their hot food. So I mean, that's their culture, It's all good. It's all good, yes. But that's their culture. That's why I wanted to check out these different cultures and see, some of the different some of the things that they may do different than, we do over here in our culture. Yeah. So a multitude of different regional and complex of Chinese cuisine. Regions of mainland China. Cuisine name derived from province or region except where indicated. So they have the Northwestern Chinese cuisine, the Mandarin cuisine, the Yang cuisine, Northeastern Chinese cuisine, Cantonese cuisine. So I guess these are all in China, because this is the Hakka cuisine, the Hunan cuisine, Shanghai cuisine, Sichuan cuisine, Fujian cuisine, Yunnan cuisine, Hainan cuisine. I don't know if I'm reading them right, but so this was just a little short article. Excuse me. And then they do have typical dishes in the Chinese culture. A Chinese meal in Suzhou. This is a different part of China. They have bowls of white rice, shrimp, eggplant, fermented tofu, vegetable stir fries, vegetarian duck, and a central dish with meat and bamboo. There are 6 bowls of rice, one for each person. So I talked about the fried rice. I have tried the fried rice from the Chinese culture. I have tried the shrimp fried rice. And I've tried the egg foo young and the beef foo young. So I like those dishes, and they do sell American food too in some of these Chinese restaurants over here. The ones that I have been to over here in the U.S. So they sell American food and food from their own culture, from the Chinese culture. So that is all I want to read from this article. But so let me see if I can find another little short article from the Chinese, because I'm at 30 minutes, so I want after 32 minutes. Chinese food, Chinese culture. So introduction to Chinese culture. An introduction to traditional Chinese culture. Since ancient times, China has been known as the Celestial Empire. This refers not only to China's strength and position as East Asia's Middle Kingdom, it also captures a more profound meaning, describing a land where the divine and mortal once coexisted. It refers to the belief that the divine, through various dynasties, transmitted a rich and abundant culture to the Chinese people. Chinese culture is thus known as divinely inspired and is the only culture in the world to have a continuous recorded history of 5,000 years. It has left behind countless literary classics, historical documents, cultural relics, and national records reflecting its immense scope. Imagine that. It's the only culture in the world that have to have a continuous recorded history of 5,000 years. So in other words, the only culture in the world that has 5,000 years of, or I guess, recorded information. 5,000 years, imagine that. Chinese culture is said to have begun with the Yellow Emperor over 5,000 years ago. So Chinese culture 5,000 years ago. He was a cultivator of the Tao or the Way, and was said to have great power and wisdom. He taught his subjects how to live in accordance with the heavenly way. Ancient Chinese legends speak of many deities who passed on to humans essential elements of culture. For example, Kanji created Chinese characters, Xinong imparted agriculture, and Suren revealed the uses of fire. So these are ancient Chinese legends. And it says ancient Chinese legends speak of many deities. So these are the ancient Chinese legends speak of these many deities who passed on to humans essential elements of culture. So that's real deep right there. Taoist thought considered a wellspring of Chinese culture was systemized by the sage Lao Tzu over 2,500 years ago in his book Dao De Ying. The book expounds on the mysterious way of the universe, which he calls the Tao. So I'm not going to read all this. It says, under the influence of these faiths, Chinese culture has generated a rich and profound system of values. The concepts of man and nature must be in balance, and it's all good. Yeah. So it's all good. Yes. So Chinese culture, you can always do some more research and find more about the Chinese culture, the Nigerian culture, the Italy, well, I guess it's Indian culture. So I'll be talking about the Japanese culture probably next on my next video, but it's all good. Yes. So let's finish. The concepts of man and nature must be in balance. Respect the heavens to know one's destiny and the 5 cardinal virtues of benevolence, righteousness, propriety, wisdom, and faithfulness are all products of these 3 religions' teachings. These principles have constantly played out over China's 5,000-year-long history. What? Really? So this is beautiful. So that was just a little short article, Chinese culture. So let's see what else we can find, because I 30 is almost 40 minutes. So now the Chinese culture. There are a lot of different cultures over here in the United States of America. So we have like I said, we have a place called Chinatown. We have a lot of Chinese restaurants down in that area where they sell the Chinese food dishes, cuisines from their culture. So it says Chinese culture in USA. So there are a lot of different cultures over here in the United States of America, but they, wasn't born and raised. Well, I mean, they might have been raised here, but they wasn't born over here. There are over 5 million Chinese Americans in the U.S. today, living in cities, suburbs, and towns nationwide. Thanks to the over 30 Chinatowns, like I said, we have Chinatown. Thanks to the over 30 Chinatowns, dozen Chinese American museums, and scores of festivals nationwide, opportunities abound to explore this fascinating culture. Well, it's all good. Yes. In part, the richness of options is due to the success, contributions, and cultural pride of the community it showcases. Over the past 200 years, Chinese Americans, individually and as a community, have acclimated, contributed, and eventually thrived despite facing repeated waves of anti-Asian discrimination and even violence. They have higher rates of educational attainment and professional employment on average than that of Americans generally. Really? What? It's so good. Yeah. Well, we have a lot of Americans over here, so we do have education as well. They have higher rates of educational attainment. So in other words, they're saying their educational attainment is higher than those of that of the Americans. So, I mean, I don't know how up to date this article is, but I don't see no date on it. But but it's all good. Yes, they have higher rates of educational attainment. While Chinatown communities date back to the 1850s, many were revitalized about a century later with elaborate recreations of ancient Chinese architecture. Today, having survived the worst of the COVID welcoming. So in other words, they do have a Chinatown in California. It says San Francisco, California. The vibrant Chinatown is home to beautiful buildings, excellent restaurants, 3 temples, the oldest cathedral and mission in California, and the acclaimed Chinese Historical Society of America. The community also hosts a stellar Chinese New New Year Festival, the Autumn Moon Festival, and the United States Asian American Festival. The United States Asian American Festival. What? See, you learn something every day, so this is beautiful. So they're showing me a picture of this, Chinatown. They have a Chinatown and Chinatown in San Francisco, California. And then we have one over here, like I said, in the United States over here. So we have one over here. Well, I mean, they're in the United States too, but we have one over here in my state, I guess I would say. And one in my state. Then they have another one over here in New York. See, in New York's Chinatown, the fun starts with a Chinese New Year festival, pictured in the exciting Dragon Boat Festival in nearby Flushing in August. The Museum of Chinese in America. So the Museum of Chinese in America, the Mahayana Buddhist Temple, and the many historic restaurants and shops can be enjoyed year-round. At the nearby Tenement Museum, get a personal sense of the life of families who came from China and other nations in the 19th and 20th centuries. I would like to find out about stuff like that too. How did they make it over here? What made them come? What, just to know how, because we do have immigrants that come over here all the time. So my main man, the Conga, Emmanuel Nzubechi, yes. So if he came over here to the United States, he would be an immigrant as well. So that is his plan. He wants to come to the United States of America. Yeah. So he's over there in Nigeria, Africa, where he was born and raised. So also they have a Chinatown in Illinois, in Chicago, Illinois, bustling Chinatown area has been growing in the recent years thanks to both new residents and impressive public investment. Now the century-old, lavishly constructed historic buildings are only the beginning. Wow, it's so good. Oh, yes. So they have one in Chicago, Chinatown in Chicago, Illinois. They had one in San Francisco, California. And they had one in New York also as well, New York's Chinatown. And they usually have festivals and all. Like I said, the fun starts with the Chinese New Year Festival. So let me see what else they have at Chinatown. I think that's the last one. So, I'm at 42 minutes. So let me see what else I can find on the Chinese culture. So Chinese culture. So and I noticed then you also notice the dress of a lot, how do people dress in these different cultures, sharing the Chinese culture. Food provides both host families and a user students alike meaningful cultural experience. So American Chinese food. That's an article. I don't want that one. Right. There is more emphasis on how to eat to balance yin and yang. High importance is placed on freshness and flavor of produce or food. A typical Chinese meal usually consists of rice, soup, and 3 to 4 side dishes. What? Really? They eat that much? So rice and soup and 3 to 4 side dishes. I don't need that many side dishes. Dishes are made of seasonal vegetables, fresh seafood, or bite-sized portion of meat or poultry. Or a bite-sized portion of meat or poultry. Chinese food cultural profile. Okay, let's look at the Chinese food culture. So Chinese food, cause sometimes when you look at that food, you like say, and sometimes I look at it, if it don't look right and it doesn't look like something I want, I don't even, I don't want it. A Chinese meal is consisted of 2 parts: staple food, normally made of rice, noodles, or steamed buns, vegetable and meat dishes. Right, the primary eating utensils are chopsticks. So I think I read this. Then they have cold dishes dishes. Cold dishes are the first course in traditional Chinese banquet. Salt, sugar, chili powder, light soy sauce, vinegar, and sesame oil are often used to make cold dishes. Cold dishes attach great importance to the designing of the dish, which is the shape of the dish. Normally cold dishes can provoke people's appetite. Cold dishes. A lot of times I don't like, it depends on when you eat certain foods, they taste better when they're hot. So like, I like French fries sometimes, but they're better when they're hot. You put a little ketchup on them. Maybe you're eating oatmeal, for breakfast. You need a bowl of oatmeal. It's better when it's hot. Grits, better when it's hot. Gravy, rice, fried chicken, baked fish. A lot of those dishes are better when they're hot. It says cold dishes are the first course in traditional Chinese banquet. Salt, sugar, chili powder, light soy sauce, vinegar, and sesame oil are often used to make cold dishes. Cold dishes attach great importance to the designing of the dish, which is the shape of the dish. Normally, cold dishes can provoke people's appetite. Hot dishes hot dish is a concept comparing with cold dish. Normally, the main course is also called a hot dish. Hot dishes are normally cooked using techniques like stir frying, deep frying, or quick frying. Right, quick frying. And some of the stuff in these bowls, I'll tell you, oh no, I would not. It's almost like, oh no. It looks like, but you can do some more research on some, Chinese cultural dishes. It's all good. What? Yes. So do your homework. Yes. So cooking with Onu Conga and Cheryl. Onu Conga and Cheryl. What? Yes. So just reading some of these. It says, look, top 4 cities to enjoy Chinese food. As the capital of China, Beijing is not only famous for the forbidden city, the typical food there is also worth a try, such as the roasted duck, yellow pea cake, and fried liver. Oh no, I don't want no fried liver. In the morning, having a bowl of hot dough with deep fried dough sticks or steamed stuffed bun would be such a satisfaction. Another ancient capital, Axion, is a representative of the food in the northwest China. What? Yes. There are all kinds of noodles like steamed cold noodles, buckwheat noodles. Really? What? The Axion people even created a Chinese character pronounced as Biang that cannot be typed in computer to name a local noodle. Apart from that, the Chinese hamburger. What? The Chinese hamburger? I've never heard of a Chinese hamburger. Now, we do have hamburgers over here in the United States of America. Yes, but they don't call them American hamburgers. They just regular hamburgers. Well, we have the fast food restaurants like, one of them we have a McDonald's, McDonald's, and they do have their hamburger, but they just call them hamburgers. You step up to the plate, you step up to the counter, and you say, I like to have 2 hamburgers, some French fries, and something cold to drink. It's all good, yeah. But that's how you do that. But they call it the Chinese hamburger. What? Never heard of that. And lamb stew with vegetables are also very popular. Unlike the favor for noodles or steamed bun, people in Guilin have a preference for rice noodles. There's also a difference between the taste of people in the north and people in the south. So they have, people in the north and people in the south. China and the Chinese culture, they eat different. They may eat different things. But it's all good. So it's the same thing over here in the United States of America. Where I was born and raised. What? It's all good. So subscribe to our channel, like this video on the way in, like this video on the way out. I don't understand why I'm not seeing any. I don't see any comments, coming on my. I have to, mess around with some more buttons because I don't see any people coming up. I don't see any people coming up like I see a lot of people's live. I see what different people will come up and you can, you know, interact. I'm not having any action, I'm not having any interaction with my, you know, prospective, I guess, subscribers, you know, so I have to, you know, I have to check into it a little more. But I don't see it. Oh, okay, I'm almost finished. Yes, I think I'm about finished. Oh, I'm at 50 minutes, so I think I'm gonna close down on this video. But it's all good. But it does say invite. It's an invite. Well, I guess I did the invite, but they just have to, you know, click the link. I'll probably do that tomorrow. So I'm at 51 minutes, 51. And I want to say thanks for joining me. Glad to see you. Glad you could be here. Glad you can join me. So cooking with Olu. So happy hump day. So tomorrow's Thursday. So I'll see you all on my next video exploring the Chinese culture and Chinese cuisine. So one more thing they have up here. Look, Chinese people believe that except providing nutrition to the body, food can also cure disease. When you are not seriously ill, you can cure your disease by eating the right food. I believe that too. Only after the food doesn't work, you may turn to the medicine. Medicine is believed to have some toxicity, more or less. Thus, food is a safer way to maintain health and cure disease. Sadly to say, it works slower. Really? It's all good. Yes, the medicine will a lot of times work faster because I know when I get a headache, I take a couple of Tylenol, you know, and my headache goes away quick. But sometimes, I mean, what kind of food could you eat for a headache? You know, but that's what the Chinese people, they say. Chinese people believe that except providing nutrition to the body, food can also cure disease. Food can cure disease. What? So, yeah, that's true. I believe in that as well. I believe, depending on the food that you eat, you know, it's very important. Like, because food can cure high blood pressure. Yes, food can cure high blood pressure. Cause I know I was eating some things that were taking my blood pressure up higher. But when I stopped eating those certain foods, when I stopped eating them, then everything checked out pretty good. So yeah, so you know, food can cure. Oh, and then another thing, what I'm saying is eliminating certain foods can be a cure as well, a cure for certain conditions. Yes, so eliminating certain foods. So if you're eating a lot of heavy meats and a lot of heavy meats, a lot of red meats. So you're drinking, you know, you're not drinking enough water, and you're eating a lot of unhealthy foods, you know, and eliminating a lot of those unhealthy foods can be a cure as well. I believe it. So eliminating certain foods can be a cure as well as eating certain foods can be a cure. So in other words, if you're eating a lot of vegetables, fresh greens and broccoli and spinach and mixed veggies and mixed vegetables, you know, I call them veggies. But if you're eating a whole lot of those type of foods, you're getting all your iron and your protein and your minerals, whatever, you know, whatever nutritional value they provide, you know. So that is good as well. Yes. So yes. But it says philosophical thinking in Chinese food culture. Traditional Chinese philosophy has infiltrated in every respects of Chinese food culture. So on that note, I'm going to close out this video and I'll see you on my next video. So subscribe to the channel, Cooking with Onukonga and Cheryl. And also we have Cooking with Onukonga and Cheryl. We also have Brainstorm TV One Productions. So Onukonga, Emmanuel and Zabechi is helping me with that channel as well. So it's all good. What? Yes. So So let's get moving, y'all. Let's learn. Let's inspire others. Let's do it. Yes. So I have my bachelor's in business administration, Strayer University, my master's in information systems, Strayer University. So it's so good. So, nothing wrong with learning. So we learn from each other, So if you feel like you want to go to college, take that leap, take the leap. If you get an opportunity, you get an opportunity to get a loan, get a grant, or you've been saving money, or your parents have enough, or you have some donation, whatever way, donations or whatever way you have available to you to get you through college. Get a associate degree if possible. Get your bachelor's, then get your master's. Do what you want. But at least get some college education. And but it's I know I heard somebody say once. I know it got back to me. A message got back to me one years ago. They said, well, you don't have to get a college degree. You don't have to get a college degree to make it. Someone told somebody, and then that somebody told me. But I mean, you don't have to get a college degree to make it, but it actually helps. Everybody's not fortunate enough to open up a business and then it turn into a multi-billion-dollar company or $1 million company. We all are not fortunate to have that happen. So the least we can do is get, excuse me, and the least we can do is get some type of college education or some type of training program, enter some type of training program, college education, but it's all good. Yeah. So, I mean, I decided for myself that's what I wanted to do, but, so that's what I did. That's what I did, Strayer University right here in the United States of America. Yes. So we also have Howard University over here. We have American University. So we have a few prominent universities. Yes. So yeah, so it's all good. Do what you want. Follow your heart. Follow your everyone. So come on, let's go. Why? Yes, I don't know why I act crazy like this. Hell! Yes, so it's all good. Why? Mr. Onukonga and Cheryl. Yes. So my main man, Mr. Onukonga Emmanuel Nzubechi. What? So my man, African born and raised in Nigeria. What? So my man, Onukonga, born and raised in Nigeria. Yes. So, so what? Yes, I like to travel to Nigeria, Africa one day, So Onukonga wants to make that trip to the United States of America. Yes. So I want to say goodbye to y'all. Thanks for joining me. And I'm just trying to figure out why I am not interacting with my my viewers. I don't see. I clicked the comments button, but I'm gonna have to figure out, and it says private chat. But when I click on comments, I don't get anything. It says live viewer comments show up on StreamYard. This is an example. Click on a comment to show it on. I'm clicking on a comment, but there's nothing coming on. But I'm gonna have to play around with this. I'm gonna have to go off live and play around with it and see. I'm just trying to figure out. Then when I click the invite button, I already sent some emails out. But so I'm going to close down on this live, and I want to close down on the live and see. It says having issues. I'm trying to think. Should I clicked on it, but I don't know if I'm gonna cut off or not. But So I'm going to end this live stream. So you all have a blessed day, and it's all good. Yes. So Olukonga and Cheryl, we want to say goodbye, and cooking with Olukonga and Cheryl. So we out, yes, we out. Yeah, it's all good. Cooking with Olukonga and Cheryl, and we out. We out.